We live in a world full of mysteries and wonder. From the beginning of time, new natural occurrences have been popping up. From mysteries in space to the mantle of our Earth, we are discovering something new every day. There is always something else to discover and learn, and new events are making an appearance in our natural world. We are going in today to the end of the Earth, deep in the center of our core, to find a natural phenomenon and discover the great meaning and working of the system. Our world is full of volcanic movement, all around us and under our feet. Anything with the slightest tectonic movement can lead us back to a prehistoric clue of the past, a volcanic spew. Mountains and fault lines, oceans and valleys can lead us back to the magma under our feet. These systems have more to them than we actually think, and they can impact our everyday life. These hot and explosive giants come in many shapes and forms.
Volcanoes are a very powerful natural occurrence in our world. They can act as silent beasts. Once they let off a bang that can practically wipe out whole cities as well as whole civilizations. They can start with the tiniest of earthquakes and end by causing big explosions.
Composite volcanoes are the typical cone-shaped giants. They can be heights up to 8,000 feet. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier in Washington are examples of composite volcanoes. These volcanoes can erupt in an explosive manner. Mount Vesuvius was responsible for killing and leaving Pompeii in 20 feet of ash in 79 AD. The shield volcanoes are once again dome-shaped with long, smooth slopes. They cover more land than grow very tall. This is due to lava, which flows from them, which is very fluid instead of high-impact explosion. Instead, each volcano is its own individual structure, especially during the explosion. At the very bottom, there is a magma chamber filled with hot lava. For most volcanoes, there is a main vent and a smaller second vent that can be at the side next to the crater at the top of the volcano. Along with the magma turning into lava, there is toxic ash clouds containing pumice. This acts as cement and can harden very quickly. In your lungs, it can slowly harden and block any airflow. Sides and tops of the volcano can blow out to change the shape of the mound during the eruption. Taking this all into consideration, a volcanic explosion can be harsh and life-threatening to human and animal life. A type of volcano I have not mentioned yet. This explosion is life-threatening to all life forms and can impact the whole planet. Its explosions can occur in 6 known volcanoes around the world. It can alter life forms and the way of life today. Throughout media and articles, we become familiar with the typical natural disasters of the world and the amount of danger they bring, including volcanic explosions. So why haven't we heard of the supervolcanic eruptions throughout the world? That is quite simple, actually. They are rare in occurrence and have a wider deviation between these eruptions. Humans have never actually seen these explosions or been alive to record them, but we have enough evidence from scientific research to know just enough about them. But is it enough? These explosions are bigger than any I have mentioned, and bigger than you can possibly imagine. Supervolcanoes form when magma in the mantle of our Earth rises to our crust, but the magma is unable to break through. It sits there building up pressure and spread as more magma surfaces. This can form various vents and chambers, causing even more pressure and buildup for the next explosion. Not only are the explosions huge, but the aftermath is horrid. This type of volcanic eruption can block light from the sun, throw off any weather pattern, causing an ice age. Species of any type can be threatened with extinction, as well as the human race. Yellowstone National Park sits on the top of a giant caldera.
Well, Yellowstone is named after the yellow rock, or the sulfur, the Appaloosa or the Crow people had named it after that. Yellowstone River flows through Billings, so the main river that comes out of Yellowstone Park was right by my house as a kid. What I know about Yellowstone Park, it's what we call a super volcano. So you have this huge North American plate, tectonic plate, and sometimes in these plates, these what they call hot spots form. So you essentially have this hole inside of the crust, and magma from the mantle can rise and go up and produce all of that we see with Yellowstone Park.
It is known to be the largest supervolcano in the world. Being almost the largest volcano in history, it has a lot of past time and mystery to look at.
Essentially, Yellowstone's a huge, what we call caldera. You're essentially walking inside of a volcano. And if you ever go into, even in New Mexico, you go up to the Valles caldera, you'll see that is essentially the same thing, just a little bit larger scale in Yellowstone Park. The last time that caldera blew up, there were essentially 2 to 3 meters, so you're talking 6 to 9 feet of ash in Kansas from that volcano. So massive scale of destruction and volcanic activity. They see a lot more activity. There's lots of earthquakes that go on there every day. Not earthquakes like huge ones, but still stuff that happens every day in that area. So it's a very active area.
Yellowstone's last eruption was 70,000 years ago, but has a pattern of exploding every 64,000 years. So are we way past due for an eruption? Yes, we are. This national park is constantly under surveillance of its hot springs, geysers, and lakes. Every day, hundreds of small earthquakes are detected in the park. The ground in Yellowstone rises by inches every year, along with the water levels. Recently, streets have been closed due to extreme heating and melting at the asphalt. If that doesn't scare you enough, the next magnitude of the eruption can be a VEI 8, but scientists have no way of knowing everything that is under its cap. This park can have a small explosion just like Mount St. Helens, or completely blow everything in its path. The chamber of magma, already known, is huge, containing 2,400 cubic miles of magma. But a second reservoir was found that is comparable to filling up the Grand Canyon 11 times. This chamber sits under the original chamber and will feed the next eruption. This can wipe out 2 out of 3 of the United States and cause a year-long cloud of ash surrounding most of the world for years on end. This explosion can either destroy much of the world as we know it, or affect just a small part of the United States, from earthquakes being at an average of 4.5 magnitude range, ground movement, and bulges to change in the geyser's activity. We do not know when this monster could blow. It could be weeks to years, and we may never see it in our lifetime. We live in the world of volcanic activity and small volcanic mounds to explosive supervolcanoes. This is our world.